Hi everyone, this is Alex Pattle, The Independent, and today we're joined by Frazer Clarke, unbeaten British heavyweight boxer Frazer Clarke. Tough to say 4 times fast. How are you?
I'm all good. It's a beautiful day in London. The sun is shining. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming in. We appreciate the time, especially on a fight week. We're going to get to the fight this weekend with Mariusz Wach in a little bit. And we're also going to come on to the Tokyo Olympics, because that's where a lot of our viewers will best know you from when you took home bronze. But if it's okay with you, we'll start at the very beginning. Could you tell us about your first ever memory of boxing, whether it be being involved in the sport or just being aware of the sport?
I think being aware of the sport would have been Mike Tyson. Would have been watching Mike Tyson, staying up late with my dad. I can remember my dad talking about him with other people in the pub and saying how much of a monster he was and how dangerous he was. And then I was allowed to stay up one day and we brought the fight over in America. We stayed up late and watched him, and I was just wowed, fascinated. And then obviously a few years later, I ended up going down to boxing club, and yeah, I was sort of drawn in by it. The smells, the people. The people's what really captures you. When you go in a boxing club, you see that many different people, unique people, characters, and that really pulled me in.
Were you in boxing early enough to where you never really thought about what a life without boxing would look like? Do you have any idea what you might be doing now if you weren't boxing?
We had this conversation this morning on the way in. I'm not too sure. You know, they do say if you find a job that you enjoy, you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel like I'm really blessed and really lucky to do that, because I started boxing at 11, 12 years old, and I got a job after when I left school. I got an apprenticeship, but it didn't last long before I was into full-time boxing, and I've done it ever since. And you know, it's a tremendous journey. There's so many ups and so many downs, but I love the sport. The sport inside of things, I absolutely love it.
Well, I wanted to get onto that. Between first, you know, being aware of Mike Tyson and getting to the Olympics, you won medals domestically, in Europe and so on. What were some of your personal highlights from that period of time? But also maybe some of the tough moments. You mentioned some downs. Were there ever any where you thought you might not be where you are today?
Yeah, you know, you have big losses. Lost in national finals, lost at big European competition, European final. I thought I'd won a world medal, and that got overturned in Russia. Huge moment, really hurt me. That if I'd have got that medal, that would have completed the European, Commonwealth, World and Olympic medals. So that one's a little bit of a tough situation for me still to this day. But overall, you know, great experiences, traveling the world with my best friends, the people that become your best friends, or the fighters. A great bunch of coaches, unbelievable people that, you know, have the best intentions for me and help me change my life. And overall, just great experience. A kid from Burton-on-Trent to then travel the world doing what he loves and making people proud. It's a bit of a story. It's lovely. It
is a lovely story, and it takes you to Tokyo in Tokyo 2020, but obviously it was 2021 with the pandemic enforced delay. You take home bronze for Team GB. It was a bit of a strange circumstance in that, you know, you were fighting very well in the semi-final. You had the cut, which leads the fight to be stopped. Could you talk a little bit about your thoughts and emotions in that moment, to know that you'd won an Olympic medal for your country, but obviously for the fight to have not quite panned out as you'd have wanted it to?
Well, I feel like with myself and boxing, there's always a story, there's always some form of drama, and it actually started in the quarterfinals. Obviously, I boxed a French guy, Mariusz Wach, and that fight ended through him being disqualified. Obviously, that's why I got the 2 cuts above both eyes. So in a way, my Olympic moment of actually guaranteeing the medal was sort of taken away from me. I didn't get that crazy celebration because even though I would have won the fight, the opponent got disqualified. So it's sort of, there's no atmosphere in there as well because there's no crowd. So it sort of dimmed things. After him being disqualified, I couldn't have sort of fell to my knees and jumped for joy, because that wasn't the way I wanted it. Do you know what I mean? But nevertheless, dream come true. You know, guaranteed medal for myself, guaranteed medal for my team and my country. One of the proudest achievements ever. And then, like you say, it's one of the strangest moments in my career actually, in the semi-final, when I went into the fight with cuts above both eyes, and then a third one opened up during the fight against the reigning world champion, a great fighter from Uzbekistan, Jalalov. Really nice man, good competitor. So we knew each other, we'd fought before, but it's the strangest thing that's ever happened to me in boxing. I lost the fight, the referee stopped it, my Olympic dream was over. My Olympic gold medal dream was over, rather. and I'd realised at the end of the fight, they raised his hand. I realised this is the last time I'm going to wear this vest and represent this country. And I had a moment, and it was just crazy because the Uzbek had won the fight. His team were there, clapping and celebrating. But I looked up at my team, the Team GB, other boxers, support staff, coaches. I looked in my corner at the coaches, and I was just elated with happiness, you know. It was the end to a fantastic amateur career. Everyone was so proud. We're Brits. We made more noise than anyone in there. There was COVID, so there was no crowd, but there was about 15 of my teammates and support staff and coaching team and friends. And I just looked at them, and there's a picture online somewhere of me with open arms looking up at them, and I was just so elated and happy because it was like, you know, that was the end of a big chapter of my life, and I feel like I'd done myself proud. I did Burton-on-Trent proud, and I hope I did everyone in the country proud, you know.
You did, and I think I'd like to touch on that because obviously, as you said, that's the last time wearing, you know, that Team GB outfit. But Olympians, I feel like there's such a respect for them in this country. They're always well liked. Obviously, you wouldn't have felt that in quite the same way as if there had been crowds, but I'm sure you would have felt it anyway. Do you think about the legacy of being a Team GB athlete? I mean, obviously winning a medal is another level, but do you think about the fact that that will always be there?
Probably not as much as I will do in a few years, but there's a great saying that you're not just an Olympian for an Olympic Games, you're an Olympian for life. And you know, someone explained it to me well in once that, you know, if you put everyone in the world in one place and you coloured in the Olympians, you know, in a different colour, then you're a small number, you're a small minority. You've done something fantastic, and then you do the medalists a different colour. You're an even more special minority of people. So it's something that I'm extremely proud of, and it's good for myself massively. Don't get me wrong, but I think, you know, to give the inspiration to other people, other children, other people with a dream who probably think it ain't gonna happen for me, because I was that person. You know, I wasn't athletically blessed. I wasn't the toughest. I wasn't the fastest or the fittest. But I had a really good determination, and I learned to keep good people around me, and you know, it made me appreciate everything, and it also took me to the dreamland. You know, it took me to a kid, an overweight kid that was unconfident, walking into a boxing club, to be in Tokyo in front of the eyes of the world and living his dream. Special moments. Last
one on the Olympics, but I think it's quite poignant given what you just said. There's been a bit of movement this week, but it does seem like the Olympics in 2028 in LA still might not feature boxing. Just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
I think it's a tragedy. I really do. You know, I've been at 3 Olympic Games. One I've competed at, but I was at London as a spectator and team member. I was at Rio as a Tokyo team member and spectator. You take the boxing away and the boxers away, that's taking a lot of character out of the Olympic Games. Anyone that's been at the Olympic Games in the Olympic Village, they know about the boxers. They know what it brings. It brings excitement. It brings an unbelievable skill, and people are quite fascinated by what they have to go through. People see you in the ring. People don't see everything you go through, the training, the making. People have to make weight. So I think entertainment value for the Olympics is fantastic, but also I'd say boxers are some of the biggest characters in the Olympics, in the Olympic villages, around the scene, for Team GB, for the rest of the world. And remember, this sport inspires kids. It keeps kids, it saves so many lives, the sport of boxing, every single year. To take that Olympic dream away from not the people in this cycle, but the 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-olds that are joining boxing clubs now, what are they to look forward to? What are they to inspire to? Boxing saves lives, and it will save generations. They've got to keep it in the Olympics. Simple as that.
On a more positive note, you're back in action this weekend. You're getting the step up in competition that you've been looking for. Obviously, you've been perfect so far, unbeaten, knockouts almost every time out. Preparing to fight Mariusz Wach. You mentioned before we started rolling, he's a hard man to knock out. Yeah. But you've got a great knockout record. How is it preparing for someone of a slightly different calibre to your last few opponents? No disrespect meant to them, but this is obviously the sternest challenge so far. Has the preparation been different at all?
Yeah, it's had to be different because we're doing more rounds than ever. We're doing 10 rounds. We've got a better opponent, an experienced opponent. So I'm not really focused too much on him. I've focused on myself and where I can improve, where I need to improve. I feel like I've done that in the gym. Obviously, I train at a fantastic facility in Loughborough University. You know, I've had great support from them. I've had great support from my coach, Angel Fernandez. You know, he's put a lot of time into me. And, you know, there's been a lot of controversy with my career over the last 8 weeks, probably more than ever, you know, with the British title situation that happened, the purse bid situation. So I think it was good to just strip things back and get back to, you know, making self-improvements, not worrying about anyone else, what people are saying online, what people are saying in papers and magazines. Strip it back, do what you do best, be in the gym and be aware that this is your toughest fight today. I'm not thinking ahead, I'm thinking to Friday, thinking to what I need to do to beat Mariusz Wach. And if the knockout comes, it comes. If not, hopefully I can show a well-rounded arsenal of skills that I've been working on in the gym.
Well, everyone at The Independent wishes you the best of luck this weekend.
I appreciate it.
And hopefully we'll chat sometime soon.
No worries.
Thanks everyone for watching.